Farah Hannoun for MMA Junkie, and I'm joined by UFC welterweight contender Colby Chaos Covington. Colby, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to talk to you again, Farah.
Thanks, Colby, to you as well. Obviously, the news came out that you parted ways with ATT, but I did see your tweet that Colby Covington Incorporated is officially launched. What can everybody expect?
The fans can expect a new and improved Colby Chaos Covington 2.0. This is the new version of me. I had to let go of some things to truly become better. And, just like the saying goes, the bird outgrew the nest, and that's exactly what happened. So, you can expect to see great things from me this year, and the best is yet to come. I'm just getting started.
And yeah, because I feel like lately, obviously, the situation wasn't ideal at ATT. You had to come in at different timings and stuff like that. You weren't getting the training part. Like, basically, it wasn't the same experience as when you first walked in, right? So, was it easier to part ways? Did it make it easier because it just wasn't exactly the experience that it once was?
Yeah, it just became too drama filled and too negative energy filled. Every time I was walking in for training camps, I could just tell, I could feel the jealousy, I could feel the hate, and that type of negative energy, it wears you down, and you can't truly be at your best when you're dealing with that day in, day out. So, this is the best step for me to get on my own. I feel the positive energy already. I feel like, the universe is aligning for me, and I know I'm the greatest fighter in the world right now. So everything's happening at the right time. There's a new chapter starting. There's no ill will towards the breakup. It's just, us going our own ways. It's more me having a lot of respect for Dan Lambert, man. He's still a friend of mine. I respect that guy. We've done some great things together. We did an Impact TNA wrestling angle together for a few weeks. We went to Orlando. We went to Canada. It was a great time. But this is more me having respect for Dan Lambert. I don't want to keep putting him in this drama-filled situation where he has to deal with fighters coming to him every day, crying to him. I'm not crying to him. I have no feelings, and I'm a fighter. You want to say some words, let's fight. Let's get in a cage and get locked up and fight, and we can settle our differences. But I'm not a crybaby little complaints department where I'm going to Dan Lambert. Oh, Dan, please kick Colby off the team. Please protect her precious little feelings. So, I feel like this is the best step for me, just to not even make him make that decision and me just go on my own way.
And was this gradual? Did you expect this to happen? You sit down, have one conversation, and it just happen, or is this kind of over time?
Yeah, I would definitely say this kind of deteriorated over time. I could feel it the last couple months, the pressure that Dan Lambert was getting from the fighters in the gym. Joanna Jurdacek, Doofus Dustin Poirier, and Street Judas Masvidal. They're crying to him like little babies every day, creating conflict in the gym in the middle of pro fighters training sessions, yelling at me, screaming, oh, this and that, getting in the way of coaches, just because they're looking for attention, just because they want people to know who they are. They're not really going to do it. If they wanted to do something, they would have came up to me and did something, Farah, but they don't want to do something, Farah. They just want to cry about it. They don't want to fight me. If they wanted to fight me, then they got no excuse now, because I'm at Colby Covington Incorporated, so you can direct your complaints and your feelings at me.
And you're staying in Miami, right? Like, this is a decision you've made, or are you even exercising the options of going elsewhere?
I definitely want to stay in Miami. I feel like I've made a lot of good connections out here. I have a lot of friends out here. I have business set up out here. So, this is the most comfortable place for me. And, I am the king of Miami right now. I have a lot of connections, and I can do anything in Miami right now. And George knows that. He knows I run these streets. He knows American Airlines mine. He knows Biscayne, Miami Beach. I got all the finest mamacitas. So, Street Juice Masvidal is not going to be walking down the streets because he knows Colby Chaos Covington is in town.
I'm assuming probably people reached out to you, like different gyms. I'm guessing Chael Sonnen as well, right? Maybe reached out to you.
Absolutely.
For the possible. Yeah, would have you considered going to Oregon, back home, to train with Chael?
Oh, man, absolutely. How could I not consider that? I mean, Chael's one of my greatest friends, man. I've known that guy since I was like 7 years old, growing up in diapers in the wrestling mats when I was just a little baby, and I've gotten so much good advice from him over the years, and just to be able to pick his brain on the daily, and him come out and just show his support for me and text me and let him know that door is open if I want any help. So, definitely I'll be in touch with Uncle Chael, and we'll see what happens. I'm just taking it day by day. I'm not going to make any rash decisions right now. I'm enjoying my training that I'm getting out in Miami. I'm assembling my team. You know, we have Colby Covington incorporated now. So, you know, I'm going to bring the finest training partners, the finest coaches, and we're going to do what we do best, you know, win. And that's what we're addicted to, winning. You know, that's all we care about. You know, that's our drug of choice. You know, some of these other guys, they have different drugs of choice, like steroids or drugs like cocaine or ecstasy. But our drug of choice is just winning. That's it, Farah.
And are you putting bits and pieces together? Like, are you joining a team and putting these bits and pieces together? Are you like going to have your own facility? Like, how are you going to go about this? Or have you already gone about it?
You know, it's in the process right now. Definitely, I'm not going to join another gym again. Just being an ATT and all the drama I had to deal with the last couple of years, and you know, Dan Lambert having to go apologize to people after my Brazil run a couple of years ago. You know, I already started to feel the heat and the pressure, and a gym owner trying to breathe down my neck, tell me what I can and can't do. You know, and try to take away my freedoms. So, you know, no one's going to take away my freedoms, Farah. You know, you haven't seen the best Colby Chaos Covington. And I'm not talking about just in the fighting world. You know, I'm about to turn it up to level 10. Now you thought I was brutally honest before. Now I'm really going to start being brutally honest because I don't have to worry about, you know, how people are going to take it or what my manager is going to think. So, you know, I have some investors. We're working on getting a gym together. But in the meantime, I put some great coaches together and some good training partners. And those will be unveiled at a later date.
And moving forward, is it going to depend on who you're fighting and you're going to build a training camp towards that? Or are you going to have like a solid team that's just going to stay the same?
You know, it'll be a mixture. You know, I think there'll be a solid team in place that, you know, those guys aren't going to leave and they're always going to be by my side. But we're also going to bring in people. You know, I'm not. You know, I'll bring in and fly in wrestlers. You know, I flew in a guy named Chad Walsh, 2-time All-American wrestler this week, and we've just been training wrestling all week. You know, I'm getting ready for my rematch with Marty Fake Newsman. So, you know, that'll be a constant thing. You know, we'll bring in training partners. We'll bring in the looks of you know, replication of whoever we're going to fight. So, you know, my strategy will be, you know, it will be good, and everybody knows what I bring when I step in that octagon.
And let's get to what's next for you. I mean, last couple of times I spoke to you, we talked about, I kept asking you, why do you think Masvidal and Usman hasn't been signed yet? And I'm talking to you again, and it hasn't been signed yet. And your theory was that Masvidal was going to price himself out. Are you seeing this theory come to life? Is that what you see happening?
Yeah, I think the whole world, all the people, you know, have seen this theory work. You know, I told the people this in January. You know, look, they were at the Super Bowl causing beef behind cameras at the Super Bowl. Causing fake drama, trying to manufacture some fake beef because they don't really hate each other. You know, it's not like a real beef. They're just trying to sell something up. And they saw that no one was interested. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Marty Fake Newsman. And people are already starting to be over Street Judas Masvidal because he's afraid to fight. He's scared to fight for the world title. Why? If you guys wanted to fight, why haven't you fought already? So we know why he hasn't fought already. He's already trying to pivot and look for a Nate Diaz rematch because that soy boy's washed up with, you know, 20 losses like himself, who's a 50-50 fighter. So, yeah, of course, lock 2 50-50 fighters in the cage, you know, and give him the broken mediocre fighter title, a.k.a. BMF.
And if that does happen, Kamaru did call out Conor McGregor. First of all, what were your thoughts on that?
My thoughts were, dude, man, it just shows how many brain cells he has in his head. You know, I thought he had 0, but I guess he has a couple because now he's trying to duck me and he doesn't want to fight the hard challenge in front of him. He's not a man. You know, he's a fucking coward. If he was a man, he'd want to clear up the controversy in the last fight. He'd want to really settle the score. I couldn't accept winning like how that happened last fight. He knows if it wasn't for Mark Goddard, he got his life saved. So that's just, you know, he looks like a clown out there. I mean, he's begging for a 55-pounder, you know, and Conor McGregor's not going to fight you, Usman. You're not a draw. No one cares about you. You know, the only time people care about Usman is when he attaches his name to mine. I mean, besides that, he's irrelevant.
And Dana did say recently when they were asking about options and they asked him about the McGregor thing, he's like, Usman McGregor is not going to happen, and he said it's either going to be Masvidal yourself or maybe Leon Edwards. Have you spoken to UC at all about what's next for you? Like, have they been trying to set something up for you?
Yeah, you know, my management team over at Ballinger Group, Lloyd Pearson, you know, he's doing a great job behind the scenes. You know, we're getting a deal done right as we speak. And you know, I know they want to wait till what happens this weekend to really assess the options and lock something down. So I think we'll have something concrete signed and sealed by next week.
Really? Like you think you'll sign your next fight next week?
That's the plan. That's what I'm hoping for. I think we're really close, and that's what the UFC wants. And they need to give me what I deserve, though. I deserve that fight with Marty, and now you see that Street Judas Masvidal's turning it down. He doesn't want to fight, so it only makes sense to run that back. There was too much controversy on the last fight. Everybody knows I was winning, 24 minutes of that fight until Mark Goddard had to do a fake stoppage. So this fight needs to be run back. There's going to be a trilogy, and this next fight, the sequel. So, there's a trilogy coming with me and Marty Fake Newsman. We got unfinished business, and he's a fucking coward. He needs to sign the dotted line and stop looking for lightweights. Stop looking for guys that are retired. Come fight the real guy, the real number one contender in line. That's me.
If they do go ahead with Usman and Masvidal, they get that sorted. I know you had mentioned stepping in on short notice to fight Woodley before, and now he's fighting Gilbert Burns this Saturday. Does that fight still interest you, whether Woodley wins or loses this Saturday?
If that guy named Dilbert, no one knows what a Dilbert is, who's Dilbert, but if that guy, stubs his toe backstage, I will show up and fight Tyron Woodley this weekend. That's how confident I am against him. He's pathetic. He's not a good fighter. He's busy, busting everybody's eardrums with those whack-ass rap albums, Let's be honest. I wonder if he'll walk out to his music this weekend. What do you think, Farah? You think he's going to walk out to his own music?
I don't know. I mean, I'd be surprised if one of his opponents did, but I don't know if he will.
All right, well, let's see if he can actually put his opponent to sleep this weekend, Farah, instead of put all the fans to sleep all over the world. So he's the most boringest fighter in the history of the UFC. That's why he got the name Tyquil. He's the human form of NyQuil, but Tyquil. So, hopefully he can go out there and get his hand raised. I'd love to square up with him, but he doesn't want to fight. If he wanted to fight, we would have already fought by now. But, the UFC is not interested in him anymore, Farah. They know he's washed up. They know he hasn't, when's the last time he fought? A year and a half ago? When's the last time he won a round? 2-3 years ago? So, he needs to come out here this weekend and prove himself. See if he's still a worthy fighter. But, I don't think he's a worthy fighter anymore. And it's going to be a stinker this weekend. And, that's that. And I'm going to get my rematch, or I'm going to wait and fight journeyman Masvidal. But let me tell you, make no mistakes about it. I'm fighting Street Judas Masvidal. I'm going to fight Marty Fake Newsman. It doesn't matter which order, but that order is coming. Doesn't matter who comes first.
Yeah, I was going to ask you right now, would you I was going to ask you how important that Masvidal fight was, and before it's all said and done, if you needed to have that fight in your career, and I think you kind of answered that.
No, but when you ask the question like that, that's a different question. If I need it, no. Why would I need to be a journeyman? A guy who's got 14 losses on his career, a guy that is a nobody, a guy that was getting upside down triangled. I mean, he's been beat up by featherweights. He's been beat up by lightweights. He's been beat up by everybody. So, it's not really prestigious to beat a guy like that. I mean, what is he known for? Winning a BMF title, an all-hype title, the broken mediocre fighter. He beat another soy boy and Nate Diaz, a guy who's washed up and it should have been retired 10 years ago. I mean, there's no prestigiousness in beating Jorge Masvidal. So, it doesn't matter if I fight him or not, because if we don't fight in the cage, for sure, if I ever see him in the streets, we will fight. And he knows what's going to happen when that happens, Farah. Deep down, he knows. He can try and hide it. He can try and make up all these fake lies, and he likes to do all these crying, all these this. He didn't pay my coach. There's some lies, but he's never said anything about my skills because he knows last time we trained, I put him out cold.
But I meant personally, to settle something like a personal score, not so much like the fighter Jorge Masvidal and his resume and stuff. I meant personally, would you feel like it needs to be settled in the cage?
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like it needs to be settled in the cage. But, at the same time, if he doesn't settle in the cage, there'll only be one reason and one person why it didn't get settled in the cage, and that'll be because of him. So if he tucks his tail in between his tails and runs away like the good little bitch that he is, he knows I'm his daddy. He knows I gave him so many spankings. So if he runs away, the fans will know he's a coward and he's scared to fight. He doesn't want to fight the best in the world. And we found out he's all hype. He's a 50-50 journeyman. Look at his record. His resume speaks for itself. He's been knocked out. He's been tapped out. Back in high school, he dropped out. When we used to live together, I kicked him out. He's a little bitch.
So if the UFC go for Usman and Masvidal, do you wait, or or is there someone specific? Because I don't, maybe Tyron Woodley, if he beats Gilbert Burns, you would be interested in fighting him. But do you wait if Usman and Masvidal fight? Do you wait for the winner of that, or how do you want to go about things?
It just depends on what the UFC is offering me and what the opportunity is. I'm not coming out here to fight for anything else but my legacy right now. I want the biggest fights in the world. I deserve that, with what I've done in my career, being the only fighter to ever go to the White House, winning world titles, flawless record, speaking of record, George Masvidal could win his next 20 fights in a row and he still wouldn't have a better winning percentage than me. Just wanted to add that little tidbit in there. So, for legacy purposes, I want the big fights. I don't want these guys that nobody knows who they are, that they're not established. These guys named Dilbert, Leon Scott. What's a Leon Scott?
I'll leave you with one last thing, and I appreciate your time. It seems like the whole of July probably be in Fight Island. We don't know where Fight Island is, but I get the sense that it's probably somewhere far from the US just because it's kind of built, it's designed for maybe the European fighters, the fighters in Australia and stuff like that, for them to get an opportunity to fight. So if you were to get an opportunity to fight in July and it's somewhere far from the US, would you be willing to go, or would you rather, because now they've got kind of Vegas set and stable, would you rather fight in the US?
Of course I'd rather fight in the US. Everybody knows I'm America's son. I fight for the troops. I fight for the Trumps. I fight for America. I fight, to drain the swamp. So, of course I want to defend my home territory in America. And if that's my first option, I want to fight in America. But, if there's no other options and we're fighting overseas, we're fighting overseas. I'm a fighter and I want to put on a show for the people back in America. I want to save the sports world because we know Tyron Woodley ain't going to do it this weekend. He's going to stink up the sports world. Everybody's going to freaking be going right to sleep. So, if I got the option, I would love to fight in America. But, if the opportunity is overseas, then we're going overseas, man. That's just what the best fighter in the world does.
Do you have a prediction for this Saturday, Woodley versus Burns?
I have Woodley by decision and boring all the fans to sleep.
All right, Colby. Well, I really appreciate you taking time. I always do. Looking forward to see what's next for you. I know it's interesting times in the welterweight division since I last spoke to you, because clearly the matchups aren't set yet. So I'm interested to see how it all pans out. And thank you again for your time.
Thanks a lot, Farah. I always enjoy talking to you and look forward to catching up with you soon. Stay safe.